Hey, Sound Up fans, Mark Goodman here. To stay connected to everything happening in the world of music, make sure to subscribe to this podcast, Sound Up with Mark Goodman and Alan Light. Join the conversations, experience live events, and be a part of the podcast. To get in on the action, check out our website at sounduppod.com. Like and follow us on social media at SoundUpPod and email us at connect@sounduppod.com.
This is Sound Up with Mark Goodman and Alan Light, the only music podcast that matters.
Hey, I'm Mark Goodman.
And I'm Alan Light.
This week on Sound Up, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame guitarist and songwriter Neil Giraldo joins us to talk about Three Chord Bourbon, his latest tour dates with Pat Benatar, and quite a bit more. Plus, I've got all the details, including some tragic notes from one night of the 2025 80s cruise.
Lots to discuss. I'm eager to hear, curious to hear about all of your last week. Plus, in the news, Lady Gaga is back with a new album and hosting and musical guesting on Saturday Night Live. I caught the Love Rocks NYC benefit last week, and we'll talk about that. D'Wayne Wiggins of Toni passes away. And as always, we've got your emails and comments and your response to our Throwback Thursday question. As always, we've also got our new music picks of the week. Lots and lots to get through and discuss. But I think we kind of got to start, Mark, with your experiences on the high seas.
The 80s Cruise 2025. It's in the books. And boy, there's a number of asterisks next to it. It was a great cruise. And I know that everybody is wondering what the hell. We heard that somebody went overboard. It seemed to be everywhere within hours of it happening on board. It was kind of wild. What in fact happened is the lead vocalist with Faster Pussycat came on board with his fiance, who it depends on who you talk to. And I talked to a number of different people from the moment that we were in the terminal getting ready to get on board through the first hours on the boat. And there were a number of people who said that these two were fighting like crazy. I didn't see that. I did see the two of them when we were getting ready to board. They looked okay. I didn't get a chance to speak with either of them, but apparently there was something going on. There was a fight of some sort. And within hours of this guy's girlfriend going overboard, it was on Reddit within like 2 hours. That's where I started to get information. No one on board really knew much of anything. Even I saw one of the owners of the cruise company, ECP, literally 15 minutes after it happened, he was still trying to find out what the hell had gone on. It wasn't clear whether she jumped, whether she fell, and no one could figure out how, if in fact she fell, how that could have happened. We initially weren't sure of where it happened. Ultimately, what we have discovered, and again, nothing official, nothing from the owners of the cruise company, nothing official from the band, but what we know from people I've talked to, for gentlemen who booked the tour, etc., what we know is, yes, there was a fight on Reddit, and this was confirmed by some of the people I spoke with. There was a fight, and a woman on Reddit almost immediately after was on saying, I saw this. The guy came running. This is, I think his name is
Tammy Down.
Came running out. Help me. My fiance just jumped. And a woman claimed in Reddit that that's what she heard, that he said that to her. Because there was some discussion. Was he at fault? Did he help her jump, if you will?
Well, according to the Hollywood Reporter, there's footage now that they have.
Yes.
That shows that she jumped.
That is in fact the case. There's cameras along the sides of the ship on both sides. Not the outer rooms each have little terraces, little decks. But you should note that the railing is, I'm 6'1", and the railing comes up to the middle of my chest. So you're not falling overboard, okay? So the question was, did he help her or did she go on her own? And yes, the footage seems to show her diving over. She was still in heels, supposedly, and the word is And again, I have to emphasize, because I'm just going on the stuff that I have heard. I talked to some people who were in power positions, but I haven't gotten anything solid. Word is, yes, that footage not only shows her jumping off, but absolves Toni of being involved in any way. Word is also, yes, high heels, fully dressed. She hit one of the dinghies, one of the boats on the side of the ship on the way down, supposedly. And what wound up happening, as soon as it was known, this guy came running out of his room, help. And within minutes, they got to the captain of the ship, and it came over the speakers on board. Oscar, Oscar, Oscar. I don't know where that comes from or why, but Oscar, 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 which means someone overboard. And they sort of laid out, yes, we've gotten reports, and we understand believe that there's someone who's gone overboard. We are going to turn around and search, which is what happened. And the question, of course, is between the time that it happened and the time that the ship's captain was informed that it happened, how much further did the boat go, and how are they going to know where, in fact, to turn around and go back to? But supposedly, based on time and an algorithm of speed, they had a sort of a vague idea. The ship turned around, and this is late. I think she went over at, like, I want to say 10 or 11 at night. It was late, and the ship turned around, and I actually videoed some stuff off of my terrace. Looking out from my terrace, there's a bunch of different cruise ships that you see off in the distance, cruise ships who were in the area, all pulled up around what they imagined was the area to help search. You could see headlights, or spotlights rather, coming off all of the ships, scanning the water. Our ship released a bunch of small boats with a couple of guys per boat, all out in different directions searching. And we stopped. We searched for a couple of hours, and then we turned around and continued on to port. And the word was that we searched for that amount of time with the help of other cruise ships, but then the Coast Guard was coming in to continue the search. How long it was continued, we don't know, but I can say that we were in Nassau the following morning, and the word was that the search had been completed by then. So they searched maybe a few hours more overnight, and that was pretty much it. They did not find her. I happened to read that when something like this happens, when someone goes over, especially at night, chances of finding them alive, based on past experience, is about 27%. Once a couple of hours have passed, to find that person alive, less than 3%. So she was not found. Her body has not been found, and we're kind of assuming that's where it's going to be. He, as I understand it, Toni was not allowed to leave the ship, which surprised me, because I thought we were all like, he's still on board? Why didn't he get off? He must be completely freaked out, but he was not allowed to leave the ship. On top of that, they padlocked his room. So he wasn't even able to get any of his belongings. He was borrowing clothes. And the night before we arrived back in Miami, I was speaking to another person who was involved with the bands on board. And I want to keep on underscoring, because I'm just talking, this is, I guess the cops would call it hearsay. Someone tells me, a reliable source tells me, this guy was out on the night before we wrapped. He was out singing karaoke on one of the karaoke bars. That sort of leaves his state of mind in question, if in fact that was the case. And I've had a couple of different people confirm that was happening. He supposedly had to stay on board and had to speak with the American authorities in port in Miami. So what the results of that are, I'm not sure. But again, the footage pretty much exonerates him. So that's about all we got.
This happens early on. What
First
happens to the mood? Like, how does everybody go forward from that into, okay, now it's the costume contest? Like, what? I'm trying to imagine what goes on, through everybody on board when, as word of this goes around.
It was strange, Alan. I couldn't get it out of my head. The artists that I spoke to could not get it out of our heads. I mean, I'm sure it was on people's minds, but it was life goes on. That was pretty much it. We, the hosts, collectively decided, and with the ship promoters, okay, to not really get into it on stage. You know, how do you segue from, wow, somebody jumped overboard to, all right, let's party and listen to Sheila E. You know, it's an impossible transition. So we did, of course, talk with many people on board as we were walking around the ship, but nothing, you know, in public on the stages. And there was never anything beyond that first night, that announcement that updated us on
That addressed
anything.
it.
But there was actually, my wife heard, we were completely in different parts of the ship when the announcement came over, and she heard someone shouting, I've been waiting for 20 years to get onto this cruise, and now somebody jumps off the boat when I'm on there. They were like, people were freaked out. Some people were like, come on, really? You're going to ruin this was my dream, my bucket list. But pretty much life went on. It was bizarre, but yes, life just went on. And
did most people know? I mean, I know they made an announcement someone went overboard, but did they know it was someone tied to an act on the ship?
Yeah, almost
They
immediately.
did. Oh, okay.
Yeah. That happened really, really quickly, that we realized who it was. And we all, those of us who were working, were all talking to the others to see, you know, some people were hanging out with them as we were boarding. You know, there's a giant room where everybody gets to, like, all the people, the bands and the people who are working like us, the hosts, we all gather in one room and we go on before the rest of the ship. And so we were, you know, we can see everybody who's going to be playing. And so there were those who were talking about seeing those guys, and everything seems to be fine.
And Tammy's a pretty well-known guy, not only from Faster Pussycat, but he ran the Cat House with Ricky Rockman back in the day, which was a big mainstay for a lot of the 80s rocker bands, you know, back then.
Yeah. Just horribly, horribly sad. And something that apparently, talking to members of the crew, it happens more often than you would imagine. There's like 2 or 3 a year that go over and are not found. I mean, it happens more than we hear about, certainly.
Yeah.
So
I'm not hugely. So, I mean, it's thousands of people on these boats. There's a bunch of them going out. At a certain point, just the law of averages is, for one reason or another, you know, there's a few who are going to do, so, you know,
crazy
who are going to
stuff.
snap for one reason or another. Yeah.
Right. And think about it. If someone falls off a boat, the boat's moving.
Oh, man.
Even if they let someone know within 2 or 3 minutes, think how much further that boat has gone.
Exactly. How do we go back to the right area, for God's sake? Thousands of miles of ocean. It's terrifying. And with I haven't posted the footage that I shot from my terrace, because it's black, and what you
Of
can
the
see,
search.
yeah. You can see a couple of cruise ships off in the distance, what looks to be, you know, a half a mile or more away. There's a couple of them directly, and then you can see some of the smaller boats off of our boat searching. You can see the spotlights. It's creepy. It is creepy.
As weird as it is in real life, it's weird to do this now and say, and so then, you know,
Yeah.
Mrs.
And,
Lincoln,
oh, man,
how was the
Sheila
play?
E. rocked.
So,
It
but
definitely
everything went on as planned and scheduled. So so then what's the next few days?
The performers in particular, it wasn't as though it impeded their shows by any means, but we were all certainly talking about it. We were all looking at the other guys in the band. There was a rumor for a bit that they wanted to play, not Tammy, not him, but the other band members wanted to play. There was word that, well, that'll make them feel better. Ultimately, the boat asked them to not. We didn't want to sort of get into that, that whole thing again, especially what it was going to be. You know, Tiffany, who was on board, would come and do a vocal or two. And some of the other people, you know, Don Dawkins on board, maybe he would do something, but that happily never happened. In terms of the other performance, and what else aside from that, Mrs. Lincoln? How did you like the play? It's really like that. There were. It seems odd to say this. This was one of the best cruises ever in terms of performances. The guests were all really, really great. It seemed to be universally agreed, the people that I spoke with anyway, that Men at Work was among the top one or two shows on the boat. It's just Colin Hay, of course. There's no original members of the band left. But Colin is in the band with his wife, Cecilia, who has her own band, Cecilia Noel and the Wild Clams, a great salsa, South Soul kind of band. She has been in performing with him for many, many years. And it is basically her band that is his backing band now. And we were joking before I brought them on stage. He leaned in and he said, "What? This is a fucking Australian band? There's not one Australian in this band." He's not from Australia. Cecilia is from Peru. There's two other members who are Cuban. There's another one from Guatemala. There are no Australians in Men at Work today.
Vegemite or no Vegemite?
No Vegemite, nothing. But they were absolutely fantastic. Sheila E. was also, it wasn't, she did something that really kind of surprised me. She wasn't just rocking and doing percussion through her whole set and everybody was up and dancing. There was plenty of that, but there was a lot of sort of cooler, chiller stuff. And the band created a mood in the room that I have never felt before. It was really inclusive. It was really warm. It sounds like I'm sort of making it up, but we all felt as one. And she did that twice. They do two sets.
What kind of band? With a
full band. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Band, drums, Lynn Mabry is with her.
Lynn Mabry, all right.
Right? I didn't realize that Lynn was in the band. And when I sat down and talked with Sheila, we all do interviews throughout the cruise. For those who haven't been on, we all do interviews with a lot of the artists. And I asked Lynn, would she mind coming in while we talk with Sheila? Because she's Sly Stone's cousin, and she has such an incredible history. One
of these singers on Stop Making Sense,
right?
Please remember, yeah.
So she's got some stories too, but sadly she got sick, so she couldn't do it. But I have a date in the future with Lynn Mabry. Okay. We're going to be talking. So Curtis Blow, also, he was good, not great. He doesn't move so well these days. I don't know that he needs help, but he doesn't move so well. So he's not. He had great, amazing breakdancers, guys who were literally spinning on their heads like 7, 8, 9, 10 times on their head. Nothing else touching. So that was a big part of his show. And he did this fun stuff. It was like a 30-minute set.
Yeah.
Andy Bell of Erasure was the last night of the tour. He did two shows back to back. And I really wasn't sure what to expect. But I wasn't sure, is this the band we want to close the cruise? Turns out, got asses out of the seats. It was all kinds of great dancing. He was a joy. He was so fun on stage. His voice sounds great. People loved all the old Erasure stuff. And it was kind of the great party thing to get people up and dancing. And I should mention, side note, another one of the weird things that happens on board is there's all these other activities, and they get the artists involved in different games and, wine tastings and whatever. They did an edition of what they called the marriage game. And that was Downtown Julie Brown and her husband, Larry the Duck, who a lot of people know in the New York area, DJ on Sirius XM, and his wife, and Andy Bell and his husband, Stephen, who is sort of his manager as well. It was hysterical. Those two, Andy and Stephen, they had everybody falling down laughing. It was just, and it's, having done it with my wife a couple of years ago, it is pretty much a really humiliating event. So the fact that these guys were nice enough to get up and do it. And, they ask you questions like, what's the one thing that you wished your spouse did better? Or what was the last fight that you had? I mean, this in front of 1,000 people. This is what you're talking about. But they were both great. that's just a quick overview. There's so much more. I'll be talking about it on my show on Sirius all week long for sure. But a blast. Amidst the sadness, a blast.
We were thinking of you for many reasons through the whole enterprise.
Yeah, it was unlike any other cruise. Let's put it that way.
I got nearly as many artists in one night.
I want to hear about that show.
The 9th annual Love Rocks benefit at the world famous Beacon Theater to benefit God's Love We Deliver, a fantastic organization.
That's a great organization, man. I love those people.
That provides meals to needy folks throughout the New York City area. And they partnered with an organization in LA to also help provide meals to people displaced or otherwise in need after the wildfires in LA as well. So extra important this year, what the cause was. Go over to the God's Love We Deliver website and help them out, won't you, even if you had to miss this show. It's always great. It always goes for about 800 hours. You have to know that going in. But a crazy range of artists this year. So at the sort of headline level, the big guns this year, Alicia Keys, Beck, Trey Anastasio, and the person who everybody, I think, would have walked out talking about, which was your girl, Cher. Now, let me just talk about Cher at a benefit show. Everybody else comes in, they play with the house band, they set up at the mic, and they do the thing. Cher did 3 songs, 3 costume changes.
All right.
A full battalion of dancers, video screens, full production, like beamed in from another planet next to what the rest of the show was. But she did Walking in Memphis, which she's recorded, in full Elvis drag.
Wow, that's
awesome. She had a wig with the sideburns. She was wearing like a loose, like rockabilly suit. And I was on the goddamn floor. Like it was too much. So Cher, unbelievable. Alicia Keys opened. And usually with these, people kind of do a song and then a cover. Or if they're the headliners, 2 of their songs and a cover. Alicia opened the night doing Killing Me Softly in tribute to Roberta Flack. And that was the first performance of the night. Beck and Trey, who closed Beck, did Loser and then 1999, which was fun to hear Beck do. And Trey did one of his songs and then Good Times, Bad Times with Luke Spiller from the Struts singing lead on that.
Wow.
And otherwise, just a wild range. Our friend Peter Frampton played. What was great was he closed with version of While My Guitar Gently Weeps with Trey Anastasio and Grace Bowers, who you guys have heard me talk about, 18-year-old hotshot guitar player on the rise. Big moment for her to go, side by side, toe to toe with those guys. And otherwise, Kingfish Ingram, Kate Hudson, Michael McDonald doing What a Fool Believes and taking it to the streets. All kinds of other folks. Jesse Mallon, our dear friend who we just had on the show, did a couple songs. He did one of his and then did Heartbreaker by the Stones as his second song. And extra credit this year, they generally have comedians come out and do a lot of the intros. Bill Murray, who I think has been there every year, is like the mascot for Love Rocks, came out and he sang with the full band, and it's an all-star band. Will Lee is the band leader and just great session players. Eric Krasnow and Larry Campbell playing guitar. He came out and did the most wildly intense version of Love the One You're With. Like he was angry at it. He was like veins popping doing Love the One You're With. We're like, dude, take it easy. Calm down. So he was there, but actually great stuff. Susie Essman, Amy Schumer, Alex Edelman, who I love, and a few other comedians who jumped in and out to do some of the intros and transitions and stuff. So it's always great. Again, you're signing up for a marathon, but so much good stuff. And I'm just going to walk away thinking about Cher. That was the moment of the night for me. So,
I love that. 3 songs, 3 costume changes.
3 songs, 3 costume changes.
Best. It's the best.
Like, everybody else just kind of goes up there. They look good or not, or they're dressed up or not. Play with the band. Okay, knock it out. Not when you're talking about Cher. Different experience.
Awesome.
So congratulations to the Love Rocks team there. They always do a great job. And again, God's Love We Deliver. Go take a look and help them out.
That's what I was going to say, because it's not only about that night raising money. It's really about getting people to know about this and getting them to go to the website. Yeah.
But it did raise, I believe, $4 million for the night. So still counts as a win.
Hell yeah. Really, really good. Sorry I couldn't make that one. All right. What else? I know you guys, I know that you guys saw Gaga on SNL. I don't have Peacock, so I didn't see it.
Big Lady Gaga week. The Mayhem album came out on Friday, and then she hosted and played 2 songs on SNL on Saturday. And first, just quick on the album, Roger, I know you sent a text saying how much you were liking this.
You like it?
I like it a lot. I think it's her best album since before Joanne. I think it's super strong. I think it's super mature. It's not her trying to recapture anything. It is where she is now. It's diverse, but yet sounds very Gaga. It's really, really great. It's got some of her strongest songs, I think, ever. The more I listen to it, the deeper I'm getting into this record. And I think it's really, really good. And I hate to say that's surprising, but it kind of is.
Well, we were talking. I remember, Roger, you were like, I think her time has passed.
The last several albums, it's been a mishmash of, the Chromatica stuff, Joanne that didn't really land, I think, the way people thought or they wanted it to. The Joker stuff, all of this stuff. And in between all that, she wins an Oscar and she's doing amazing stuff acting. But the music career seemed to be kind of in flux a little bit and just unsure of where it was going to go. And she's such an interesting performer that you don't know where she's going to go on top of that. So it was interesting to get this album and be like, wow, this is really good. And then, okay, what is she going to do with it on SNL?
On the album first, 2 things. One is it's really interesting. I saw somewhere, it's like, depending how you count, this is either her 6th album or her 12th album.
Right.
Like there are 6 regular Lady Gaga albums. Mm-hmm. And then there's the Tony Bennett albums and the Joker companion album and like all the other stuff. So like, how do you even frame up what the career even is? And then I saw in one review online somewhere, somebody say, and Roger, I'm curious for your thought, they made the comparison that was like, it's kind of like when U2 decided it was okay to make U2 albums again. It's kind of like that, All You Can't Leave Behind, the atomic bomb moment for them of saying, okay, we've done this other stuff and this is what we do when we're U2. That's sort of what this album feels like for her. I will put in, because I have to give her the credit, the biggest Gaga super fan I know is our friend DJ Hesta Prin, who loves this album to die for, up, down, and sideways, and we were texting all weekend. So full credit from the community that it gets a full blessing. I would say I really like little more than half of it that I really like. I think there's stuff on it that's really, really good. There's some stuff that I don't love. The Bruno Mars duet is on here. We all know it. We've all heard it 8 million times, and I still don't really get that song particularly. Some of the ballads feel trying a little too hard for me. There's a song that is such a Taylor Swift bite. I can't believe it. How much it's a Taylor sound-alike in every way, what she did with that song. But okay. But then there's some stuff that's great. There's a song called Love Drug that's really, really good. Killer, which is one of the songs that she did on SNL, that's got kind of a Bowie fame guitar part on it.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Perfect Celebrity. Excellent.
Perfect Celebrity is really good. So, I would say I don't love all of it, but I think there's the stuff that's strong is very, very strong. And I will say that the single, Abracadabra, that's out now, I do not really like this song for whatever reason. Now, I didn't really like Disease that much. That was the first single, and I like it a lot better on the album. I've sort of come around and like that more. Abracadabra, I kind of find a little annoying and a little trying too hard on the I'll do Poker, I'll do Bad Romance, I'll do the ahs. I don't love it. But other people do, so I'll back off on that.
It's weird, I thought of you, Alma. I was listening to this record because for me, listening to it, I just felt there was a comfort level in what she's doing.
Yeah.
For her, to me, this feels like her sign of the times. Like she knows who she is. She knows what she wants to do. She can do weird things and not but still make it feel like an album. And it's really, I think the more you listen to it, the more you're going to be like, this is a deep album.
I think that's true. So quickly, what'd you make of SNL? Big production on the songs.
I was annoyed watching it, not because I didn't like her performances. I'm just so exhausted of the direction SNL performances have gone in. The whole thing was, it was an SNL performance because it was on the SNL stage. Now it's like these could be anywhere because it's a totally different set. It has nothing to do with SNL at all anymore. Her second song did because she was walking through the hallways for half of it. And I'm like, well, if you went to the show to see her, she's not even on the stage yet. she didn't get on until the end of the show. I mean, she was great. The performances were really strong. But, it's just, I don't know why they do that on Saturday Night Live. It feels weird to me.
Everybody feels like they got to raise the stakes higher and higher. They got to outgun the next one.
But to me, raising the stakes if you're Gaga is just coming out with a band and just playing a great song.
Because we know she can do it.
But you're going to do those big things on stage in your tour and in your videos anyways, So I don't know. That it detracted from the song, I thought.
How'd you like her doing comedy?
She was good. I mean, you're only as good as the scripts you're given on that show. Yeah. And there were some really ridiculous skits.
Extra weird sketches this week. Maybe because it was her and they just leaned into it.
Yeah, but like the luggage skit was bizarre but funny.
Was weird. The Friendly's birthday party sketch was weird.
Yeah. The funniest sketch that was Lady Gaga centric, she wasn't even in, was the news where Mikey Day came out as Lord Gaga and explained how she became Lady Gaga. Was pretty hilarious.
Was pretty funny. It's pretty good. Well, Mark, you'll catch up.
Yeah.
And do listen to the record. And everybody do listen to the record. Again, I don't think it's consistent top to bottom, but I think that all of it's worth listening to. And I think the stuff that's good is very, very good. And maybe I'll come around some more on some of the others. I'm prepared to believe that.
Right. And I think it's number one right now, right?
Well, have they announced what it'll, I mean, I'm sure that it is or will be. I don't know if they've actually made the announcement yet on this week's charts as we record.
Yeah, but this is like a 3 to 5 single deep album, I think.
Oh, yeah, easily. Yeah. It'll be very interesting to see. And it will be interesting to see, not to go off too much on it, but as we were saying, in a post-Chapel Roan universe, what the interest level in Lady Gaga is. Obviously, she's a superstar. There's a high floor, but is the ceiling still what the ceiling used to be, or has the pop world, there's somebody else doing musical theater girl with big rock guitars and crazy outfits? Like, that's not her. She's not setting the pace on that right now. So I'm interested to see. And she made the joke on SNL. She's like, 38 years old is the perfect age to be a pop star now. She right up front sort of accepts, like, okay, that's going to be the challenge at this chapter.
Huh. Interesting. All right. I'm excited. I will check it.
Yes.
One more thing, though, I know, before we take the break.
Yeah, I just wanted to note as we continue to put up on the big board folks that we have lost this year, that we got news on Friday of the passing of D'Wayne Wiggins, one of the founding trio that made up Toni. The group shared in an Instagram post that over the past year, D'Wayne had been privately and courageously battling bladder cancer. Through this fight, he remained committed and present for his family, his music, his fans, and his community. 2 days earlier, they had announced that the lead singer and guitarist was battling a health issue, that he's experiencing medical complications and working through it one day at a time, and was only a couple of more days to work through before he passed. Wiggins, one of the co-founders of the group, with his half-brother Raphael Sadiq and their cousin Timothy Christian Riley on the drums, and can we say, made some fantastic records.
Yeah.
Feels Good, Little Walter, If I Had No Loot, that Ice Cube sampled. And they've continued to tour as Toni, not with Raphael, who's gone on to do all the stuff that he's done. Most recently, we saw him at the NBA All-Star Game. But Toni has kept playing the other two with somebody else playing the bass, and D'Wayne as the lead singer, they could do it. So a sad loss from the R&B community, right on the heels of losing Angie Stone and, so many that have passed just in the last few weeks.
Yeah. All right. We are going to take a fast break here. We've got a very special guest who's going to be joining us in moments. Celebrating the anniversary of the historic Eat a Peach album, Three Chord Bourbon has announced a new Backstage Series bourbon going to be released with this with the Allman Brothers Band as they exist today. However that is, I'm not quite sure about that. And Three Chord Bourbon is Neil Giraldo. He founded this company. It's dedicated to creating premium bourbon that harmonizes with exceptional craftsmanship with a passion for music. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Alcohol and music with Neil Giraldo next on Sound Up. Welcome back to Sound Up. As promised, very special guest joining us today. Yeah, we're going to talk music. Yeah, we're going to talk guitars. Yeah, we're going to talk rock and roll. But we're going to talk bourbon with Neil Giraldo, the one, the only.
Thank God there's only one.
Sure, you know him as a member of the band, Pat Benatar, the Benatar Giraldo band, sure. But you're in the bourbon business?
Yeah, I am. I have a great team, by the way. I'm just saying. It's been 8 years. We've been going on. I think June it'll be 8 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about this new anniversary release,
Yes.
Celebrate the anniversary of Eat a Peach, an Allman Brothers album. So explain what the Backstage Series is and how the Allmans are involved this time around, et cetera.
Yeah, this is so great to have them too. I got to tell you, because, growing up and, you put your bands together, we always want to have two guitar players so we can be like, Dickie Betts and, and just, D'Wayne and have that sound, right?
But did you always want to have two drummers?
Uh-huh.
No, not really. But I wasn't really paying much attention, even though I love drums and I love playing drums. I wasn't paying attention to that because there's so much guitar activity going on. In fact, I was doing something a podcast the other day, and I was trying to think of the end of Whippin' Post, and because I nicked it for Hell is for Children, but I not on purpose. I was just thinking, how could I end this anthemic kind of song that starts somber in the end? So I did what Allman Brothers did: a boom, 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 boom. They have that climb, ba, 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 all that stuff, So anyway, but yeah, the Backstage Series is phenomenal. Yeah, that's the brainchild of my team. They're phenomenal. It's incredible what they're doing. It's just insane, right? So it's a way to kind of group a bunch of musicians and create a family. That's kind of really what it is. Ryan Gill, he's the brainchild along with Michael Nanula and the team. And the whole idea is just to have like a family. When you join a band, you got to have a family where you like everybody, right? And everybody, it's a democracy where everybody has an opinion. So, if somebody don't like something, sound off. If you could prove you're right, we'll take your idea, So it just so happened it coincides with Eat a Peach. I mean, this is phenomenal timing, but we're honored to have them on the Backstage Series along with a lot of other great artists in them.
So how does it work? You go out and approach bands, artists with this idea. They come to you. What's the, how does the outreach work, and how do these turn into collaborations?
Yeah, well, first we were reaching out to just put it as a blanket statement out there. Anybody want to be involved with this where they could do their own blend? And then we got people coming to us. And then all of a sudden we just let it hang out there. And, we didn't have to go any further. They were just coming to us, and it was great. It's a great way to partner up with these bands. Hailstorm is fantastic. They create their own blend, essentially. They got all their tools that they need. They take this, they take some rye, they take some bourbon, they take some whiskey, and they blend it all together for their own special thing. So,
but these guys aren't professionals.
You don't have to be a professional, Mark. Come on, man.
What? There's video online of you, like you're there with these tall, these glasses, and what qualifies you to blend bourbon?
I'm not qualified at all. Let me tell you, Mark. My father used to say you learn something new every day, and he was right. When I began, I just had an idea. I wrote the screenplay. I was beginning I never finished it, by the way, but I will finish, I promise. It was a screenplay hybrid documentary. I wanted to put highlight on the local musicians I had growing up in my northeastern Ohio area, right? Great, phenomenal musicians. So I wanted to highlight them, do interviews with them, sort of like that Cigarettes and Coffee, like that film. So, sort of dark and interesting. But on either side is a story with real actors on either side. And then in the middle is the interview, but on either side it has this acting thing. So a friend of mine saw me post the idea I had. And he says, you want some help? And I said, sure. What do you want to do? He goes, well, I think we should get a spirits company to give us some money and we can get a trailer made. I said, that's a great idea. I said, but why don't we just start our own? I mean, why not? He goes, are you serious? I go, yeah. And that was it. And we just started it May 12th, 2016. That's when we began. Yeah.
So there's so many people, so many artists on their own who've gone into this space, so many, like there's just been so much action around musicians and these, select spirits and all this. How do you distinguish? How do you, are you just an infrastructure for some of these bands who want to do it and you're a mechanism to be able to do that? Or, how do you stand out when it seems like everybody's trying to jump in this pool?
Everybody started doing it. In the beginning, there wasn't many. Sammy was the godfather, basically, I think. And then everybody follows. And then we were not that far behind on that with Sammy, And the idea is the Backstage series is just one part of the company. We've been around for a long time. We have a lot of expressions. I don't even know how many we have, 11, 12. I said when we started the company too, I wanted to make sure that we had the fundamentals of this company was to support musicians and create like a family. I mean, young bands and people that come to us. I like to teach people. I do seminars where I instruct and I give people ideas growing up, what they should do with music if they want music. It's like this. If you know anything about golf or take any activity, sport, life, whatever it is, and you want to be a professional golfer, not everybody gets to be a professional golfer. But on the way, you get to do all these other things. You can be an architect for golf courses. You can be an instructor. You can make golf clubs equipment. So same thing with bourbon. You start with one idea, but I wanted to expand it. I wanted to cover a lot of ground. And listen, our motto is respect the moment. We want people to enjoy the spirit, not abuse it, do it with responsibility, and engage in conversation. Whether you're playing music or you're just having a conversation, just have a sip, enjoy what it is in that moment. So we're just trying to create moments. And I needed to get out of the house, basically. I needed to do something else besides what I do. So it all worked out,
Well, the series.
Yes.
There's other artists that have been involved in this series, and you say that we strive to bottle each artist's essence with the bourbon, and you've talked about how artists get involved in the blend.
Right.
Explain how that works. Are we blending, sipping, getting hammered? No, that wasn't good. Let's go back and get hammered again with this mix.
No, they're not getting hammered. No, not if you, no, you're not. That's not the point. Not that there's anything wrong with it if that's what you choose to do. That's not what we're talking about here. So it's kind of like writing a song. I mean, that may sound corny, but it really is. If the band's there and a couple members in the band, they go, well, let me try it. They try it. They take a sip. Well, I don't know if I like that as much. Why don't you try mine? And they do it. They go, oh, yours is pretty good. What about if we add this? I got a great chorus. Great. I got a line here. That line sucks. Let's not use it. Let's write something different. It's the same thing. I
love that metaphor.
Yeah, but that's kind of what it is. Early on with the company, with my master distiller, whiskey maker Ari Sussman, we were talking about the synergy between making music and making whiskey and how it lives in a barrel and how there's so many things that are the same, like exact compared to the differences. And I could go in much more detail, but I would use all the time up trying to explain.
No, but I know Ari a little bit because I did something. He was working with Eric Church on his line and spent some time with him. And since then have run into Ari at Dylan shows. And like he's not fooling around as a music guy and is a very sophisticated. He was walking me through the sort of sophisticated end of all of this stuff and, what his training is, what all that stuff is. It's, that's no joke.
It's a remarkable thing. I mean, when I started this, I had no idea of the depth. I just thought, hey, put it in a still, make some bourbon. Let's make it good. No. And his thing, the reason I chose him right away, and I knew right away, is he was talking about environmental, using the proper water and recycling, and where he would get the grain from and everything. I was like, okay, he's my guy,
Aside from the spirituality of it, are you making any money off of this?
No. No, but we're not losing money. Okay. That's not happening.
All right. A break even is good.
Yeah. It's great. The business is doing really great for us, though. It really is. And, we're just keeping expanding. We want to keep expanding. We want to go globally and we want to get our message out. It's important for the messaging. Who said it? Al Capone, don't mistake kindness as weakness. We're a kind company. We want to help folks out. Help everybody out. Who cares? Just have a great time. Respect the moment. One of the great things is seeing it in action at some of the tastings I would do. They would come and they would talk to me first, and I'd say, what should I get? Well, try this one. Next thing you know, they're all the people that were in line were talking to each other, and they're all having a great time. And then I'm by myself then. Nobody's talking to me. And
They don't need you.
Perfect, because they're having a great time. Respect the moment. Enjoy. Come on. Life's too damn short, as you know, Mark.
Indeed.
You know
That's
that.
interesting.
Yeah.
Mark, you were reading off before we were on the air some of the scheduled tasting stuff. It's you got a whole counter.
Yeah.
You got your regular tour dates, and then you got these as tour dates.
Yeah.
How is this all fitting together in your life?
I'm all over the place. It's good. I mean, it's if it gets the message across, I'll do everything I can for the company. Like I said, they are so great. I mean, they believe in what we're doing. It's just like a band. I mean, I'm so proud of everyone. They're just phenomenal.
Can you talk about that? There are tastings for people who are listening. There's tastings in a number of different cities around the country. So anybody who's listening, they can show up at these events?
Sure, of course. Yeah, show up. And, I think I'm doing something soon in Arizona, or as my one granddaughter says, Arizonia. And she comes up with great words. It's pretty spectacular. She creates her own vocabulary.
Speaking of the granddaughter, is the excuse to ask about another non-music project, which is the children's book that you guys have going. Your grandparents.
Oh yeah, but that's not until later in the year. And
but you've announced it's coming.
It's coming. Yeah, we got that coming.
What's the idea? What are you working on? And I got to just to say, children. I have always been, and maybe as a songwriter you get this, writing children's books. I actually stand in awe of the ones who are really good at that, because you're working with a limited vocabulary, you're working with limited space. Like you don't just sit down and do that. That's a difficult thing to execute. So what was the idea here, and how's it been to then put that in practice?
Well, the idea, because Patricia and I both doing it. So we're both musicians, right? So we're trying to say in this book that everybody, all grandparents are like rock stars, if you want to use that term. And that term don't really live anymore as far as I'm concerned. I don't like that term, but we talk about how we can make music with my hands, we can make music with the voice, and all these different things, and how everybody is cool, basically. And all nationalities and diversity is strong, and it's just a positive, great book with a great ending, and it'll either make you smile, bring a tear to your face, and life is good. It's a good thing. It's a great book. We're really honored to be able to do one, and we're excited about it.
You guys, the Benatar Giraldo band, diversified. Yeah,
we're moving around, man. We're doing stuff,
and forgive me, because the memory is not what it used to be.
Understood.
Weren't you guys, there was something else that I was sending people online for that you had available to people. I want to say, I feel like it was 5 or 10 years ago. Weren't you in another online business? If you're going, I don't know what you're talking about, then I'm really out.
I'm not sure. I know you guys had the play.
We had a play.
Yeah,
we had the play for a while. Yeah, we had the play.
I feel like it was like a health thing.
Oh, I did. You're right. I had a thing called On the Rock Nutrition. It was a supplements company. Yes, that's right. Mark, you did very good. But I think it was more like 20 years ago.
Oh,
10.
Wow.
It was a long time ago. Well, listen, here's the other thing. I'm glad you brought that up. Because I like following the Kobe Bryant rule. And Kobe Bryant was one that his body was a spiritual machine. And he did everything that you could do health-wise, and he ate the right stuff and had nutrition and chose the right and supplements and everything he did. And when he practiced hard and long, and he executed it on the court, right? So I started a supplement company because I always had digestive issues. And I think, well, I want to start a company and come up with a cure or help for this thing, right? Being Italian, Sicilian, as a matter of fact, drinking wine at an early age and salami and all the stuff that you probably shouldn't be eating, right? So all those things. So I started this company called On the Rock Nutrition. I was using supplements from Hawaii and places like that. And because I was living there for a short time, 5 years. And So yeah, I started that company. I love nutrition. I'll probably go into some sort of business again like that because I really do love it.
I mean, just the idea that, and I know, as Alan was saying, I mean, so many artists are getting involved in outside ventures. A lot of people are going into the alcohol business.
Mm-hmm.
So when the Benatar Giraldo band is back out on tour,
Mm-hmm.
will some of this alcohol be available at the shows?
Yeah, I think some, it will be.
If it's allowed.
Yeah, it will be available at some like casinos and things of that nature. And on-premise accounts that are all over the place will have it stocked, and I'll be doing things on and off for it throughout the tour.
And I should mention, we mentioned these tastings. There's one coming up on the 19th at 5:30 p.m. at This Little Pig, which is 10651 Main Street in some small town in New York, which maybe you know.
I don't. I'm not sure. I know I won't be there, but
I think you said Clarence, New York earlier. Was that what?
Yeah.
Oh, Clarence. Yeah, that's more like Buffalo. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The little red dot on the map says Clarence.
Yeah, Clarence. That's all. We have offices in Clarence. Yeah. So
offices in Clarence. There you go. So if you're in the Clarence area.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You can go, Three Chords probably all over the place there. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Were you a bourbon guy prior to this? Or
yeah, I did. I do like brown spirits. I like the whole idea of sipping. I mean, that's, well, let me get this right. When you drink wine, it's more than a sip, right? But bourbon and whiskeys, I think, should be sipped to enhance the flavor of food. I particularly like that. I love like very little sips of bourbon with cheese and all kinds of great things. It's phenomenal. So yeah, I do. Again, but I'm not a guy that likes to jump on tables and get hammered. That's not me. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
But I like to sip.
Yeah, but one of the things I love about, tastings like that is to a lot of people, they're all kind of the same, but there's these very, gradual subtleties between, the different styles and the different mixes and the different blends, which is a lot of people think a guitar is a guitar. There's subtleties between each guitar you pick up that
of course
some people can pick up on, some can't, and I was just, and it's interesting too, that this is another, I was curious, like, what are you doing with these oak barrels? You going to get a guitar made out of one of them?
Yeah, we do have some guitars made out of them, actually.
Is that so?
We do.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
we do. We definitely do. The thing was, too, when I started, my business manager, who was phenomenal, and she goes, did you ever think about doing vodka instead of bourbon? It's really cheap and it's really easy. So my answer to that is this, because you guys are in music and you understand this. I challenge myself as hard as I challenge the audience. I don't go for the easy path, right? I want to engage in people when they listen to music to challenge them with something maybe they never heard before. Little twisted, where it takes them a little time to go, I don't even know if I like that yet. And then it grows. So if I can get people to kind of go, I'm not sure I really like it yet. If I can get that, I know that it'll be a successful thing. So that's the point. I chose bourbon because it was one of the most difficult. I love it, and I wanted to make it the toughest one. And I figured, well, next to, cognac or champagne, come on, that's not even going there.
So this may sound dumb. This may be dumb. This may sound
no question is dumb.
But I'm genuinely curious. You and Pat went into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame a couple of years ago now.
Yeah.
Does it change things? Are there other doors that it opens? Do you ask, can you get a higher guarantee when your Rock and Roll Hall of Famers on tour? Like, what is that? Does it impact your life to be able to do that when you're launching the business like this? And it's part of the thing is from Rock and Roll Hall of Famer and Neil, like, what does it actually mean day to day to be able to say that?
Right. So to do a show normally, now they give us less money. I just want you to be, I want to be clear on that. They just say,
you guys are taken care of.
Yeah, let's pay you less. We don't, let's pay you less. You're not worth it anymore. Be part of that. It does open up those avenues and things like that. Maybe not so much with a spirits company, but great people, Greg Harris and John Sykes at the Rock Hall. They do a lot of stuff for the children in schools and keeping the arts in the schools and everything else like that. they're doing a phenomenal job with that organization, right? And it's so much about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It is the Rock Hall. It is a Hall of Fame. It is a TV show. It's a building. It's a message. It's a lot going on there. And they're doing a phenomenal job because they reach out and they help people. And that's important. So things like that, the idea of being able to help myself, being able to help them in philanthropy type issues, it's opened up greatly. So things, let's put it this way, things that have opened up from that have been very, very positive, right? Very positive. So honored to be in that, honored to be part of that. And I thank my tremendous CAA, my main man there, Rob Light, who's a tremendous agent and just a great guy. He's like, he got me into using an Oura ring because I sleep really bad. And he says, you got to get an Oura ring. You'll sleep better. Yeah, they work, man. They help you sleep a little bit better.
I do know people swear by them.
Yeah, they're pretty darn good, man.
Wait.
He's a great guy.
What?
Really great guy.
What?
We'll tell you later.
Sorry, Mark. Another time. We'll take care of that, okay?
You mean you don't use the bourbon to go to sleep?
No, I don't use the bourbon to go to sleep.
Different kind of sleep.
Yeah.
So before we let you go, we got to talk about the band.
Yeah.
And what is
coming
upcoming for 2025 for the Benatar Giraldo band.
Well, we got stuff. We got tour dates coming up. We got a lot.
When
of
are you back out?
New songs. I think April for a short run, and then we're April, May. I think might even go a little bit to June. I'm not sure. And then the summer is not off. We're just not on the road, and then we go back out in the fall. I think fall. Yeah, late fall, something like that, for about a month. But in the process, I've been writing a ton of songs.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, a lot of songs. Some that will work great for us, and some that won't. And the ones that aren't, it looks like it's time that I'm going to be doing a solo record, so I'll have guest stars on it, because the catalog of music that we've done is stamped pretty hard. I stamped myself pretty hard on there. It's with production, writing, and all that stuff, right? But that doesn't necessarily define me totally, because I love a lot of genres and I love to mix a lot of things together, right? So I need to do something where I can just hold the reins and just get a little wacky and outside and do anything I want without answering, except my dog. She's barking in the background. She always wants to come on podcasts. She is just a little doll.
We welcome animals making noise on this podcast.
Yeah, because she's saying she wants some time going on. So, but I have a solo project that I'm in the process of putting together too. And
any time frame on that at all?
No, I can't give it. And I also I have a Christmas holiday record I've been doing for the last longer than the Bourbon Company, like 10 years, because it's not a Frosty the Snowman kind of record. Not that there's anything wrong with that. What it is, it's about November 1st to February 1st. And in that period of time, the things that go on with everybody's lives is extreme. They're having relationships that are breaking up. They're getting new relationships. They're making ones that work, that join, and they get better. And then there's people that want to start working out on January 1st, and then they want to quit smoking, drinking, and all that. And then by February 1st, they might be back in a safe spot. Or maybe
Thank
they
God
found
dry
something.
January is over.
Yes, exactly right. So, those things. So it's more of a perspective kind of thing. It's not really a Christmas, so to speak. And one last thing I'm doing too, I'm working with some songs. Me and my drummer, Myron Grombacher, we're writing some stuff together, and we're going to make some more racket with that way too, because we do some pretty wacky stuff. So
yeah.
And
what about for Patricia?
For us, yeah. And then we have a bunch of songs. We'll probably be throwing them out there this year on the tour and check it out and see what people think of that. And then we'll record as well. We'll do something at some point. We'll probably. Well, here's the thing: if you have the song written and you feel great that the whole song is written. It's like a bottle of whiskey. You got to make sure that after it's distilled and after it's aged or whatever, when you put that cork in, it's final, right? Same with a song. If I know I have every song ultimate, not the penultimate, ultimate song done, the rest, the next part's simple, easy. So now what I'm trying to do is put all those songs and those things together in this period of time. And then we'll go in and we'll record for maybe 21 days and have 13 songs done. That's kind of what, instead of the old days where you go in for like 6 months, I'm not doing that. 21 days. That's all we get. Period.
And any look to get the musical back to stage, or are you looking at documentaries, biopics, other extensions? Yeah.
Yeah, we've been approached by the biopics and things of that nature too. They're messy. I mean, they're good because you can get to tell the story, because Patricia and I's story is different than most people think. They really don't know what we were or how we became us. They think they have an idea. They don't really know, right? So that message would be good to explore. So we've been asked for those type of opportunities. The play is it's going to be happening again, shuffled up a little bit different, though I'm so busy doing all these. That's Patricia's thing. I'm letting her take the reins. I'm more writing and doing all this stuff on the other side. I'm really happy about doing that and moving forward. And that's moving forward too, but it's with songs that are already written and things. We have some new ones in there too, I think, Flora. But if that makes any sense. So, but yeah, she's excited about that.
Mark, should we do these lightning round questions before we let Neil run out the door here?
If you're ready, Neil.
I'm ready, man. Bring it on, man.
Let's
Come
do
on,
it.
let's rumble. Yeah.
Let's see here. So you have them up. I got. What was your first instrument?
It was supposed to be flute. And then, yeah, I know. Couldn't you believe it? I just can't even believe that. It's just that. It was supposed to be flute, but then the school, my Catholic school, and I was like 6 years old or something, they didn't want me to be in the band. There was already a flute player, whatever this thing was. So my father says, that's goofy. I'm going to get you a guitar instead. So guitar was at first, and then piano, and then drums. Yeah. Well, he wanted me to do Italian songs. Are you going to do Italian songs with a flute? I don't know what I was thinking. That made no sense. But listen, it's all about being honest. That's it. It's the truth.
All right. Question number 2. What song do you never get tired of playing?
Never get tired of playing. I don't know. There's a lot that are like that. If you ask me the other question,
I mean, there's a lot that you don't get tired of playing?
Yeah, because it's easier for me than singing, because I can always change whatever I'm doing and make it a little different. So maybe Hell is for Children, because it captures so much. It's like a mini movie, it's like a full-length movie. It's not a mini movie. It's like a full-length movie. So it's always fun to kind of do that.
All right. And finally, who is your musical hero?
There's a lot there, but if it applies to songwriting in the genre of rock and roll bands, in that music, it's Pete Townsend without a doubt, because I've always wanted to be like Pete. Pete plays guitar. He attacks the instrument. I love to attack the instrument. He uses a lot of rhythm. If you notice with sequencers, like a Bob O'Reilly and Eminence Front and all those things, well, I do that as well. I love that. We Belong as that, and there's many things I use. I love that. A lot of rhythm. He plays drums. I play drums. He plays piano. I play piano. A little different than him, but he plays. So he was my first. The Who was my first concert I went to with my Uncle Timmy. So that was an important one.
That was the moment where you went, I got to do that.
Yeah, because I call it Jerry Lee Lewis blood too. Because when you get on stage, you gotta bleed it. You're there for that time. Be there. Just be there. The people work hard. You got the killer. Just come out there and just be there. People. It's hard. It's hard to the cost of things. You know what I mean? Give them a show. Play as best you can.
See, we got a bonus on that, because sometimes what was your first concert is one of our other lightning round questions, but he gave us that anyway.
Yeah, that one's right in there. It changed my life. It was a beautiful moment. Yeah.
Neil Giraldo, always great to talk to you. Great to see you, and good luck on this new release, celebrating the anniversary of Eat Peach, the legendary Allman Brothers album, Three Chord Bourbon, and the part of the new Backstage series is the Allman Brothers Band series. Is there, do you call the bourbon like Allman Brothers Peach Bourbon or something? Is there like a special name for this particular one in the series?
I have no idea. I don't know if there is or not.
I stumped Neil Giraldo, ladies and gentlemen.
I think it's just the Allman Brothers. Maybe they call it Eat a Peach. Honestly, I don't know. I got to check with somebody on that. But yeah, this is a great honor having them. I got to tell you, it's just great. I love the Allman Brothers. Yeah,
well, as long as Roger gives up the bottles that just arrived at his house, we may taste some.
You're never getting it. You're never getting it.
I'm sure he's not in the same room at your house, so
Never
you're not
happened.
getting it, man. I'm telling you right now. I know a guy, though. I'll fix you up.
Neil Giraldo, as always, thank you so much. And we are going to look for the bourbon. We're going to look for the tour with you guys and that solo record.
Oh,
really
yeah.
excited to hear
yeah.
Hold
about
you to
all
it.
of that.
New music's coming. It's coming.
All right, welcome back. Many thanks, as always, to Neil Giraldo for turning up and turning us on to some pretty fine bourbon. We've got some pretty important messages from you. We love to hear from you, our Sound Up Pod Squad.
So each and every week, we present a question, thought, something we'd like you to comment on as part of our Throwback Thursday segment. And this week's question was, what is your oldest concert ticket stub? Got a bunch of responses on this. Want to bounce these back and forth?
Let's do Rhonda Lawrence Bernstein. Since high school, 84 to 87, those are all in my high school scrapbook. New edition with Force MDs opening. The rest since then are split between scrapbooks and file folders.
Helen Shapiro Deidelsweig, if I got that right. Helen, my apologies if I didn't, says, yes, I have so many stubs saved in old photo albums. I think my most prized one is from when the Smiths played a show at the auditorium on my college campus in 1986. But so many great memories whenever I look at them.
Man. Before there's a few more, but do you guys save stubs?
Oh, yeah.
You do?
I will say I have some.
My oldest is, I think, from 81. It's Queen with Billy Squier opening at Madison Square Garden.
A show you talk about often. Yeah.
I have a binder full of these.
Mine are scattered between a couple of files and this and that. And I have some from from big, particularly memorable shows. I have some, and I do have, and I think I know where in which folder it is. The first show I went to, the Elton John show, Cincinnati's Riverfront Coliseum, on my 10th birthday, 1976. I know I kept it, and I believe that has stayed. I've held on to that for all the years in between.
It's amazing.
You have any from any like?
I have zero.
Okay.
Zero. I had for a few years, I had my ticket to Woodstock that I didn't go to. But no, I feel bad now.
So like from Dylan club shows or, particularly like things that were memorable like that. I have some of them.
Chad Erickson says, yep, I still have all mine dating back to 1986, Billy Joel. And being a music nerd, I still have all of the concert reviews that I clipped out of the newspaper the day after the show. That's obsessive, Chad. Well done.
That's above and beyond. Melissa Richards-Pearson says, I do still have my first concert stub, which was an $11.50 ticket to see Daryl Hall and John Oates at Centennial Hall in Toledo, Ohio on March 6, 1983.
Woof. Man, that's
that
great.
mid-80s sweet spot here for our listeners.
If someone would have asked me what a ticket price was in the mid-80s, I would not have guessed, but it would have been more than $11.50.
$11.50, yeah.
It was in the teens about, you get those like $15, $16, $17 tickets.
Here's one from a different era.
Damn.
Wow. That ticket in black and white?
Yes. Sepia print.
That's already, David Clayton Thomas is already there, I think, by this time.
Is already
right?
gone. 70.
No.
Well, David Clayton Thomas is there. Yeah. He's there.
Yeah. He was he became the vocalist after that first album.
Oh, yeah, of course. No Al Cooper, but yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And Chuck Erling, another first concert. Prince and the Revolution on the Purple Rain Tour at the Spectrum in Philadelphia, November 24, 1984. Somewhere I have my Purple Rain ticket. That's what I have. I have my Purple Rain ticket stub, which was from the spring of 85 at Nassau Coliseum.
When you're freaking Alan Light, you better have your Prince tickets.
I don't know if I was that in 1985, but apparently I was enough that yes, I do have that one. I've got some Prince, like I have the ticket from Rave Unto the Year 1999 at Paisley Park show. Like I have that. So yes.
I mean, you wrote "Let's Go Crazy." Of course, you should be having all of those tickets.
I should.
We also have this concert or multiple concert review. Pod Squatter Scott has this to say.
Hello, Sound Up. This is Scott, poolside in Houston. I wanted to call in a quick concert review, just because I think it's always nice to hear actual listener reviews. Well, last week I saw 5 concerts. I know it feels like a challenge directly to April in SoCal, but she's probably already seen these bands or has tickets to see them when they come through LA. But here's a quick summary. I saw a small indie rock band called the Backfires first. They were fun and energetic, especially in the small 200-person venue. Then I saw openly queer young female multi-talented singer-songwriter MXM Tune and her equally talented opener Luna Lee. Both were amazing, expressive, and intimate, and both rousing crowd pleasers. Then a few days later at the same venue, I saw the young Vegas glam punk band Palais Royale. They gave the audience that raw Maneskin, young Struts energy vibe, touring on their great 2024 album Death and Glory. And then a few days later at the House of Blues, I saw upcoming disco diva Debbie Dawson wind up the crowd as the opener for 27-year-old rising pop star Tucker Pillsbury, who goes by the moniker Role Model. This talented young star had a tight 4-piece behind him and his acoustic guitar, and his combination of bedroom ballads and danceable pop sing-alongs had the 98% Gen Z female audience screaming the lyrics the entire night. Great show. Definitely one to watch. I hope that was short and sweet and to the point, and I hope I made April proud. I'll be listening. Thanks, guys.
That is how you do it.
Right?
Under 2 minutes, 5 shows.
Under 2 minutes, got them all. Something to say about each of them, Scott, and no notes. That is exemplary work. 2 things. One is it is funny that he shouts out April and then mentions MXM Tune or MXM Tune, because I know that she is a fan who has written to us previously about that particular act. And I will vouch for the Gen Z females that I know talking a lot about Role Model. That does seem to be a thing that is happening. So glad to get the on-the-ground report on that one.
Great. But I should mention, since April was mentioned, SoCal Music Gal, she was also on the cruise. I should mention.
We know she was. I bet she was front and center all day, every day.
That's how she rolls. She and Pod Squatter / Volumaniac Tara also on board. Tara Slominator.
There were a number of them. April actually sent a photo of what looked like about a half a dozen of them.
Yep. They were showing up. And I will say for you guys, I was delighted that no less than 5 different people on the ship stopped me to go, Sound Up rules. They're listening to Sound Up. Thank you.
Let's get those T-shirts out there.
That's right.
So yes, as just to finish, as Scott said, we do love to hear reviews from you guys. He's right. So feel free, be inspired by that exemplary work from Scott in Houston. Can do it poolside, tuck it into your phone and send it in, and we will put it out to the masses.
Scott's the best. Well done. Well done. All right. So before we wrap it up, we got new music picks to get through. You want to go first, Alan?
I will go first if this is what you would like. Two things out of the, I don't know what we call it, but the country Americana world. One is a new song from the all-star group I'm With Her, which is Sarah Jaros, Sarah Watkins from Nickel Creek, and Afe O'Donovan. And a really cool, they won a Grammy for the last album, maybe a couple of Grammys for the last album, but a really cool song called Ancient Light that's got like a kind of starts with a sort of 70s Laurel Canyon-y kind of a harmony vibe, goes into a more sort of cosmic little kind of spacey section, then some more of the sort of string band playing. It's a pretty elaborate composition. This is not like pulling up around a microphone and doing a bluegrass song. This is definitely a more arranged, more written, more complicated thing, but I think a really, really lovely song that they're all immensely talented, and I like it a lot. And we could have put this in the news, so I'm going to cover it over here, but we also got word last week that Carl Dean, the husband for more than 60 years of Dolly Parton, passed away. A legendary and mysterious figure. You never saw him. She would make jokes about whether he was or wasn't real, but he was very much real, very much by her side for all of those decades. And of course, the inspiration for Jolene, when Dolly saw a bank teller flirting with her husband, that resulted in one of the greatest songs ever written. And last week, Dolly Parton put out a new song inspired by her late husband called If You Hadn't Been There. In a post, she wrote, I fell in love with Carl Dean when I was 18 years old. Like all great love stories, they never end. They live on in memory and song. He will always be the star of my life story, and I dedicate this song to him. And released this new single with the refrain, I wouldn't be here if you hadn't been there. And it's beautiful. I have no idea when she didn't go in and record this when she got the news that he passed. Sure. I don't know if, it was there waiting for this moment or what the backstory of what the song, but it speaks, incredibly powerfully to their history and their relationship. And at age 82, is that right? 79. Sorry, she hasn't crossed 80. At age 79, Dolly sounds great, and it's really moving and amazing that it's out there. So had to put that up.
That's great. I haven't heard that one yet. I did hear the
Go
news,
listen to it, and you'll cry, and you'll be really happy you listened.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I have a few. I was listening over the weekend. As you know, I was away. So once I got back on land, I started listening to some of the new stuff that came out, and holy cow, Qisha, Qisha, has a song that is my song of the week for sure. Sex, Drugs, and Existential Dread. Great title, and just the coolest dry sort of delivery on this song. It is dancey. Qisha is an artist originally from Malaysia. She's based in the UK now. She describes her music as pop. She says kind of nostalgic alternative pop. She is multicultural in her upbringing. And her music, she says, reflects that kind of upbringing. She says it's given me a lot of different experiences to write about. I feel really lucky having grown up in an international school in Malaysia, where it was a real melting pot for different people. And then moving to the UK at 16, it made me grow up a lot faster. And in that, I became very sure of myself. And knowing who you are and what you stand for really helps with songwriting. Sex, Drugs, and Existential Dread from Qisha. I also have one by a new artist for me, Jonah Kagen. He left home at 14 to go to boarding school. He graduated from Cornell University, where he was the co-captain of the soccer team. And he said he grew up in a bubble. At 24, in Savannah, Georgia, he was a Savannah native. He has already cut some impressive figures online, 250 million global streams on the heels of this EP that he put out in 23 called The Roads. And he wrote a new song called The Reaper, about that feeling when life sort of smacks you across the face. Each little story in the song is a moment where I felt severely humbled by the universe and had to take a step back and remember that not everything has to happen right this second, all at once. U.S. tour starting in April for Jonah Kagen. And I have one more that I just have to throw out there. Rick Springfield and Sammy Hagar. They've been great friends since Sammy had Rick cover I've Done Everything for You, and Rick took that to number one. Sammy sent Rick a bottle of champagne back in the day when that happened. They have been friends ever since. They are partners in Beach Bar Rum. Sammy's company, Rick and Sammy run that, or are partners in that company together. And on Rick's Greatest Hits Volume 2, which is just out, He's got a song previously unrecorded, Party at the Beach Bar. It's Sammy and Rick together and only on Rick's Greatest Hits Volume 2, which is out right now. So that's my picks. What about you?
Mark and I picked the same song this week, which is kind of interesting.
It is.
You know, I mean, I was going through Spotify's list of new music, listening on a long drive, and nothing was really grabbing me. And when this song by Chloe Qisha came on, I was like, what the hell? This is amazing. And you never heard of her before. And again, Alan, I thought of you a bit because this and one of the songs on the Gaga album really have a Prince influence to it. And not so much as it sounds like a Prince song, but it sounds more like the bands Prince was working with and would produce and has that sound to it. This song has that sound to it. Like this sounds like, oh, Prince had something to do with this. And it's really, really good. You got to check it out. It's so kind of cool and quirky and just, it's such a good song. My second song, which I thought Alan was going to pick, and he did it, is we got a new song from Ingrid Andress this week. Her first song in probably 2 years, I think it's been, or at least a year.
Wow, is it that long since her national anthem meltdown and then stint in rehab that followed?
It could be less than that. Seems like a long time now, but definitely the first music we've gotten since that incident. And it's a great song. She's a great storyteller. And I feel like she's developed this interesting formula of how she tells a story in a song. It's always very family-centric, personal, and it's a really moving, sweet song. And it's produced really well. She sounds great. And no mention of a record. It's just this single, Footprints, that's out, but it's really good. You should check it out.
She's great, immense talent, great writer, great voice. This song I didn't love. It hits all the notes, but it feels it's a little formula. As you note, she does that well. But it'll be interesting, I'm sure, somewhere. I mean, she has talked about what she went through and what led up to that disaster. You know, she's gonna, if there's a new project on the way somewhere, she'll do the big confessional interview and go through all of it, and we'll see how the world embraces her. I mean, she had a big success, that More Hearts Than Mine song, which I absolutely loved, and got Grammy nominations and all of that stuff, and seemed like she was, you know, it was all taken off, and we'll see how she's able to put it back together.
All right. I think that's going to wrap it up. Am I right, gentlemen?
I think so.
I think we got it all down. That is this week's Sound Up with Mark Goodman and Alan Light. We appreciate, as always, you checking us out. Make sure you head to our socials for exclusive content and more, all at Sound Up Pod. And as always, we thank you for listening.
Remember, every week we give you our new music picks right here on Sound Up. And to listen to all of those selections, check out the Sound Up soundtrack playlist on Spotify and give us a 5-star review. Like our Facebook page. Make sure to check us on Instagram, X, Blue Sky, and TikTok. And always email us words, text, or audio at connect@sounduppod.com.
All right. That wraps it up. And as always, we thank you for listening.
Sound Up is hosted by Mark Goodman and Alan Light, produced by Roger That Media, distributed by Revolver Podcasts. Theme music by Smile from Tokyo. For more information, go to sounduppod.com. Roger that.